Welcome back to Football Fundits and to the Game Week 4 episode of the FPL Fundits. Tough week for a lot of managers. Game Week 3, that one. I think pretty much like I said in my tweet, Brighton double clean sheet really helped out, which is ironically what's got me very worried this game week. But before we go ahead, make sure you hit on that subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter and on our new Instagram page. And if you haven't already, and I don't know what you're waiting for, please join the FPL Mini League, the Fundits Mini League. The code is right there. Um, like I said, these are the criteria of potentially winning a prize, which will be announced on a later date. Like I said, FPLs have been a little dicey this year in terms of prizes and mini leagues, right? So we'll sort that out later. Um, Before I get into this episode, I would also like to thank you FPL manager for supporting us. I can see a small tick in the subscriber base increasing already. So thank you so much once again. So now let's quickly go into what my team looks like. What are my potential transfer thoughts or my transfer plans? We'll then also look at a wildcard draft again for the ones who are having a bad game week and can't just wait to hold on. The ones who have Son and who's done nothing, Saka, for example, and obviously the captain picks. So this is what my team looks like as of now. Obviously the captaincy will switch to Salah, but I have Sanchez in goal, James, Cancelo, Trent, Trippier, Neto, Martinelli, Salah, Luis Diaz, Haaland, and Jesus. Now, in terms of just quickly looking at what my starting lineup could be, for example, Dunk could come in for Neto, but not owning Rodrigo and double clean sheet, which made me so happy last game week, is worrying me this game week. So I'm a little wary about that as of now. Apart from that, I'm relatively happy with my team. Luis Diaz has been a little disappointing, but I think you could hold before Bournemouth. I mean, if you have him in your team, I have considered selling him for Rodrigo myself, honestly. But I think you can consider keeping him, right? Apart from that, the team looks relatively solid. I'm quite happy with it. Fulham could be a tough game for Arsenal, but I do see Arsenal still getting a goal over there. Although I have two free transfers in the bank, I don't think I'm going to be using both of them. Haaland to Kane, popular move again. People are trying to switch back because of what we've heard about this already a million times. The Pep Guardiola saying that when you have midweek when a game showing up, Haaland won't be playing those games or limited minutes in those games. And we already have game week 5 coming up on Tuesday night, so that's probably just a 3-day turnaround, and then 2 days after that for game week 6. But I think if that's a worry, and if you have a free transfer and you're considering Haaland to Kane, yes, Spurs have a great fixture against Nottingham. Maybe hold on one more game week. Could bite you, could bite me, but that's what I think as of now. Let's look at potential transfer strategies, right? Now I have two free transfers. I don't want to obviously burn, I just burn it and just not use it, right? Neto obviously is a trouble point for me here, the pain point for me. He's dropped to 5.3. I kind of knew he was going to drop to 5.3, but the asset I won the most was Rodrigo. And just with zero point 0.3 in the bank, I really wasn't able to afford him, so I didn't make that quick move when he was only at 5.4. So, option number one I could consider is taking Neto down to Jensen from from Brentford. Would give me zero point 0.2 in the bank extra, leave 0.5. Save me from a potential further price drop of Neto, and Neto not looked too good himself, right? It's not been the most convincing. In terms of fixtures of Wolves, okay, again, the next three are not that bad. It's Newcastle, Bournemouth, and Southampton after that. But if he blanks against Newcastle again and 5.2, then there's Liverpool City after that, West Ham, Chelsea. So I'm not looking forward to letting him drop one more point. So it's not the most exciting move, but option number one, like I said, looking just at Brighton's fixtures and looking at Jensen's involvement, I wouldn't be too. I'm not the best move. People say, why not De Silva at 4.6, saving more money? I'm just still not too sold on him, although he's at 4.6, right? And again, it's the same Brentford teammate, so same fixtures, which are great. That's option number one. Option number two would be Luis Diaz out, although like I just told you, not too convincing for me with Bournemouth coming up. I'm just worried about them blanking again, not looking so good. So that will be Luis Diaz are down to Rodrigo, or vice versa. I mean, Luis Diaz down to Rodrigo and Neto to. Well, I have multiple options there, so I can either go Neto to Gross. Although again, a Brighton triple up is not what's exciting me. I can then instead of that look at Neto down to still Jensen because that still helps me with 0.2 in the bank, and I beat the drop. And I got Rodrigo, who I really want in my team. Option number transfer strategy number 3 is transferring in Tony, which is also tougher for me to see happening right now, but just food for thought. Taking Archer up to Tony, which would be about 2.7 I need in my bank, which means I'll really take down Luis Diaz down to 5.7, which would be a gross again, or maybe to 6 to Harrison, which gives me 2 and then something to play around with. Netted down to Yanley, that gets in a -4. So like I said, in what these transfer strategies enable me to do is not miss out on the players I'm really worried about, which are Rodrigo, which are Tony, Pascal Gross, not worried about Neto's price drop. But when I think about it, right, Rodrigo could have a great game against Brighton. Brighton have looked good. Rodrigo could bust that defense, could get in a couple of goals again. But I'm not really happy with just the balance of everything and all, right? I really, really want Tony. I really, really want Rodrigo. But am I really happy with the balance that leaves me with? Maybe not. So if I had to use that just one free transfer again, I would probably consider just being safe and using it on Neto. So let me just move it down to the players you need in terms of, I'll show you more about Rodrigo, I'll show you more about Tony and what I'm talking about. I'll show you a little bit more about Harrison as well. I'll use it as live transfers, right? So it makes it all easier for you to have a look at, especially in terms of pricing. So let me just show you guys that. So you have, like I said, Sanchez, Ward over here, Dunk, James, Alexander, Arnold, Cancelo, Trippier. I'm looking at just defense only, right? And I'll show you. Maybe you don't have Dunk already. And I think Dunk would be a good move of Weltman because Brighton looks so good. You have a 4 on Nico Williams there. Or you can go for a 4 on Nico Williams there because you have 2 free transfers. Now for me, personally, he's at 4.1, sorry. Now for me personally, it's still not enough to get Rodrigo. But if you had 0.5 already, and if you're downgrading one of your 5.0s, don't want to take Cucurella because you're worried about Chelsea. Good move. That's the one way you can go up to Rodrigo. Or alternatively, like I spoke about it, Harrison does look good himself. Obviously, Rodrigo is the man in form, but I'll just pull up Harrison for you as well. 6.0, 24 points so far, a goal and 2 assists, or 3 assists. Not a bad replacement to have, especially if you're feeling the Leeds FOMO like me. I apologize for using the word FOMO, but with Brighton, Everton, Brentford, Nottingham, Manchester United, Villa, Crystal Palace, Arsenal, not really a bad fixture run, right? So you could probably get in on Harrison just about, and would be a good way try to compensate for not having Rodrigo and use that 1 free transfer or 2 free transfers, right? Because Nico's a bench player, shift to 4 defenders over there. If you have a Cucurella, like I said, for example, 4 in the back instead of 5, down to Nico Williams or maybe Patterson even for Everton. And that's how you get Neto at least up to one Harrison. But like I said, if you've made your moves early enough and you've not had the point drop like me, you could probably, that's how, afford Rodrigo too. Rodrigo currently is at 6.4. So that's a bit of a tough one to swallow, but you can still make that happen for you. Now, alternatively, I told you guys I would be potentially considering taking out Trippier, for example, but just looking how solid they looked against City. Liverpool is a bit worrying still, but I think looking at the fixture and after that, I don't think now's the time for me to take out Trippier. I'm very happy to hold on to him. So I think I've kind of maybe priced myself out of that move. But yeah, Nico Williams and Harrison there would be a move like I was talking to you about, or talking to you guys about for yourself as well. But again, do I want to let go of Dunk? I'm worried about the Leeds fixture, but then they still have good fixtures after that, and I could really use them to rotate it around, right? Fulham, Leicester, Bournemouth, Palace, Liverpool, Tottenham are tough, yes, but then Brentford can use him to rotate around very well with Andreas, who looks good, right? When the fixtures get tough for Brighton, we have a good run for Andreas. So I think I can use those two to rotate each other around. So I'm not really worried. So I'm not worried, but I'm not also like, yes, will I miss out on Rodrigo? Because Rodrigo has got in the maximum points so far. So, lot for me to think about and a lot for you all to think about as well. What are the other options apart from Rodrigo in midfield? Everyone has been going for Gross, and the ones who have Saka have been going for Martinelli. So yes, even with Smith Rowe coming back fit, you could see potential rotation over there. But Martinelli seems to be a must-have against Fulham. So I think a Saka to a Martinelli, or if you already are, if you potentially have Jesus and you potentially have Zinchenko already, and you don't want to triple up, and you are happy to let go of that Saka Martinelli combination, then you can also look at straight up Rodrigo there, balance it out. Looks like a good player, leads up good fixtures. I could consider Saka down to Martinelli as well, and keep Rodrigo as well, and keep that money in the bank, right? Looking at just forwards, I think Tony looks like the most promising. Like I said, so Brentford, Leeds, Brighton have the best fixtures. So we already spoke about Dunk over there. You could also look at Ben Mee. In goal, you can look at Sanchez and Raya. I think both are good shouts. If you had to choose right now, maybe if I had an option right now, would I have probably leaned towards Raya? Maybe. It's like 51, 49%. I think both are good shouts as of now. Same in defense, you could go for Dunk, Weltman, Henry, or Ben Mee. In midfield, Trossard, Cross, a little bit, I'm leaning a bit more towards them. We're looking to save money in the bank. De Silva is something I've been going for, but again, not for me. And in the forward line, I think it's Tony. Welbeck, again, not the worst at 6.5, maybe not. So potentially, let's say you're running out of money. MBMO is at 6.0, but you're not really convinced because he's not been really getting those attacking returns for you. I think Welbeck at 6.5. Welbeck at 6.5. Again, you could take Luis Diaz down potentially to Rodrigo, get attacking moves on there, looking at just the fixtures, looking at the players in form. Welbeck looking decent, 2 assists. Looks like he's really part of Brighton's plans. The attacking play, looking decent off the ball as well. Differential if at that. But having said that, if I had that option, I would still, if I'm going for that transfer, I'd still be going for something like this. I try to be completely attacking then if I'm taking that minus move or then -4. And yeah, just auto pick for now just to make it easier, but there are better players at 4.5, so rather not do that. Just for example, you can go down to 4.5 midfielder. That way I feel a little bit more secure, right? Luis Diaz is a big miss against Bournemouth. But just looking at Tony's form, Rodrigo's form, you can catch them both on into your team. Get rid of a player like Neto's potentially going to drop. Yes, you are down to 4.5 players, but you can easily have that 3 strikers instead of Archer. So that potentially becomes, I have 5 defenders here, right? You have Martinelli, Salah, Rodrigo, Andreas. Andreas can go to the bench, go to a good 4-3-3. Good options over there. So this is something I would consider seriously if you really want to use that -4 and be very, very aggressive. This is my best move for you. Apart from that, what if you're wildcarding? Well, if you're wildcarding, your team should look pretty much like this. Obviously, I am missing a few big names, right? I'm missing. So if you're wildcarding, I think this is a good team to look at, but you're trying to be a little aggressive, right? Let's say you take it in a Nico Williams over there. Just for example, let me just look that up better. So Nico Williams over here, 4.9 in the bank. I mean, I don't know if I want to go for Bailey again, although Villa looking decent. Bailey gets a few minutes, right? Dion Bailey. What would I change? If you want to go just 3 in the back, for example, be more aggressive, get more money in midfield, and definitely Trippier has to drop down as well for you. Probably look at then, let's say, Ross in midfield. 5.7, you're down to 4.2, leaves you money for just maybe a Patterson, for example. Uh, Potentially could look like a team like this. A lot of managers are asking, what about Cancelo? Why not take Cancelo out? Not look the best. I think I disagree. I think it's one of those rare ones where I feel he's actually a little more involved. Yeah, but he's not getting those touches in the box. So what about Cancelo to Walker or Diaz? Obviously, when you make those moves, you could keep a Trippier, you could have Diaz or Walker here. It's not the worst move. I don't know. I just still feel a little uneasy without Cancelo. I could be wrong, but yeah. But just to show you guys, you could, since you're making that aggressive wildcard move right now, and you want to make the most of your team, you could do this. You could leave Trippier here. You can get in Perisic over there, for example. Since I spoke about the players you could be missing out on. This looks like a decent team. Obviously, apart from this, you could also look at getting in Kane for Haaland since you're wildcarding in. That's what you're preferring. I wouldn't take him out just yet. Maybe keep him on one week and then use that free transfer on Kane next week. But yeah, your team like this would still look good. Luis Diaz, not really convinced that he's really that bad because he's guaranteed minutes, right? Just because you're looking at team and form, maximizing the fixtures and everything else, I think this is what a good team would look like. Obviously, I'm not taking Cucurella in here because I feel Trippier slightly better now. Could be wrong. Chelsea could hit form. Kovacic could come back. That midfield gets stronger. A little more solidity in the defense. Rest easy. Not concede those goals. But yeah. Before obviously I close, want to quickly talk about captain picks. It's a no-brainer this week. I think Salah seems to be the easy one against Bournemouth. Just looking at the fact that even though Liverpool have not looked the best, I think they created enough chances. Salah could have done a little bit better, but I think he should be fine this game week. So option number one for me would be, without a doubt, Mo Salah. Option number two, I would lean towards Haaland or KDB. If you have both somehow, I think maybe Haaland over KDB. And completely out of this and would be Jesus for me. I wouldn't look at any other captains over there. I think it's time to be a little safe this game week in terms of captaincy picks. Maybe take that risk on a player or two, go a little differential like I suggested earlier in the video, and keep the captain pick safe and maybe cover up some spots in your mini leagues, cover up some spots in your rankings. Like I said, I am a little worried looking at my team right now in terms of potentially dropping by not having Tony, Rodrigo, Kane, Perisic. Perisic, many, those three players, right? Those three players worried me. Pascal Gross a little bit because his ownership has also gone up. It's almost at 10% now. Could affect me a little bit. But by and large, maybe I'll try to hold on my nerve and make that safe one transfer. But hey, things could change till the game week deadline. So yeah, anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. That is it for this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in again. Hit on that subscribe button if you haven't already hit on that subscribe button. We'll definitely be coming out with more episodes in general on this channel. Follow us on Twitter and on Instagram. I got a few requests last week for FPL help and I try to do my best again. So do hit us up on that. We'll happily get back to you all. Best of luck for this game week. We'll see you in the next game week. And also, yes, do not forget to join the mini league if you already have. Cheers.